it happened.
Yes. A very hard battle in there. And trust me, for the last 3 years, these have been finalists in and out. And for every year, we've had 3 circuits played. And you understand the team you're seeing there in yellow and the golden colors, that's Uganda Matters University. I've also given space to learners. Those are scholars who have been able to play the game of rugby at full scholarships, and also Victoria universities. And of course, like I would always say, results will always come in handy. And for this very one, you understand that academically, these universities are striving and also excelling in the field of sport, and particularly rugby here. So for the fact that we are seeing them edging themselves every final that we have year in, year out, it's not a surprise for those that have invested in sport. So believe me, Ruben, you understand that the team that you're seeing in yellow, Uganda Matters, falling short to you, Victoria University, of course you'll believe it, we shall always have one winner, but I believe in the spirit of sport, they are all winners, despite Victoria University having the bigger edge at this and standing tall for the last 3 years. Remember, from inception, Victoria University won the first circuit in their first introduction to rugby, that is in 2023, winning their first ever crown at Uganda Christian University. And from there, they went on to win the next edition, which was 2024, and again winning all this year again. We are waiting to see what they have, but again, they are not yet to stop, as they are still offering sports scholarships and rugby in particular. And as I can say, there is a lot they are doing, despite them having a slow pace in the Uganda Regular Premier League. But however, on the university scene, they are good to go, and they are giving a lot of flowers to Uganda.
Okay. Victoria University making cross-border signings for the Major League after its graduation. Let's look at the major signings for Victoria University.
Victoria University have made 3 signings, but you understand it's also a technical move to shed off the faces they're having off their graduation. And you believe once your bursary is done or scholarship is done, the only way to have continuity, you'll have to sign in fresh legs. And signing this is for the refueling for the Premier League, or also fueling for the university side. So Victoria University, calculating it mathematically, is the right way to go. And cross-border discussions that other university sevens haven't understood, that University of the Victoria University is having a lot of discussions with members across the country, and they've had in some 4 players coming in from Kenya, and of course in the Premier League they had also more 3 that joined them earlier, and in this very segment a few of the Ugandans who play in Kenya joining them, and Omoding joining the Crow. So we believe that whatever Victoria University is cooking, they are wise enough not to unleash them yet, but of course the background discussion still says that Victoria University have a lot to give us in terms of the cross-border signings, in order to plan for the beef up of their team for the Premier League, and also the Uganda Cup, where they're still falling short, and also come the University Series. Okay,
Uganda Lady Cranes final preps for the Africa Cup due next weekend in Nairobi.
Yes.
I know you've been following the Uganda Lady Cranes, and you have a lot of info about the team.
Yes, of course, talking about which we believe the return of the Lady Cranes captain, the skipper, that is Peace Lekuru, coming into this fold brings a lot of hype into the camp, and one of the most fierce on the continent, is one of those that you need in the synergies of your team. So the 13-man squad that will be selected by Coach Charles Sonnen will be so crucial this time around, that this team has garnered a lot of experience in the last 4 or 5 years. Charles Sonnen is that gentleman you're seeing in there. Actually, he happened to have been my teammate back in our days. So I believe he has a lot of experience, first of all, as a World Rugby qualified referee and a coach in this very step. And he has been there on that stage as a player. So I believe whatever is passing on to those ladies is more technical enough to believe that he has been there enough at the World Series, the Africa Cup Series, and him falling short for the 5 and 4 times consecutively, coming up with bronze. This is his maiden time to fight hard to come back with gold, especially when the fold has been given enough resting time off the Uganda Series, the 7th Series, and all the players coming in camp to train for all these last 1 whole month. And I believe whatever that he has to give us will be only results than basically discussion of how it should be made. So Peace Lekuru is that lady you're seeing in red, returning back from Europe, where she has now gone for professional rugby, and she returns back for this emphatic battle that is across in Nairobi next weekend from Saturday and Sunday. This is a stage she's familiar with, having won gold in all Africa Games, the first of its kind for both male and female Uganda, both boasts of that great experience. Like you can see Lydia Namabiro there and the rest in the background. Who are the ladies in the great experience they have had to ensure that Uganda takes home gold come next weekend? Okay. And of course, the Uganda under-17s, boys and girls, are preparing for the World Junior Olympic qualifiers. Yes. And the World Sports Festival in Abu Dhabi. I'm pretty sure that our teams are ready. Very much. I can actually count on the under-17s for whatever they are preparing, because remember, Uganda, the under-17 boys made it as champions in the recently concluded 3 weeks back tournament in Safari Sevens, and for the first of its kind, winning it is not one of the easiest after having less time of preparation and with a new technical team in there. So Coach Sky with the boys and the technical team at Uganda Rugby Union in the age grade department have a lot to give us, especially when they are coming into a world stage. So they have the qualifiers for the World Olympic Junior Games, and the final ones, if they qualify, they will be down in Dakar, Senegal. And I believe Uganda has all it takes to bring the results, and I count on them for all they have done and the greater trainings they are having every weekend at Makerere, and for this weekend they will be having at Chadondo on Sunday. And I believe for both boys and girls, like you can see in the background, you're having the boys who are crowned in the last 1 month as champions in Kenya. You believe whatever Uganda is preparing, you know, we are outsmarted in the Rugby Africa Games, that is World Cup qualifiers in Nambole recently and last year. So going down to the grassroots development, Uganda is sending this team, both male and female, to represent them in the qualifiers. And I believe at least out of the two teams, one will be able to go through, if not all, both of them qualifying through. And if they qualify through, it will also put a lot of eyes on to why we need more money from government and why we need more money from the corporate world. So I believe the young lads and lads will have to give us a lot of glory in there, and of course to count on them to fit into the feeder systems of the Uganda Rugby Cranes and the Lady Cranes in return. Okay, the Uganda Cup continues with a week for action with the Panthers. That's women are putting a step into the women's semi-finals already. Wow, like you've just highlighted, the Panthers making history for after having disappeared from the big talk discussions maybe. The Panthers have all it takes this time around, having won 2 straight matches. Remember, in their pool, there are only 3 teams, and the Thunderbirds pulling out of their pool makes it or made it easy for them to come up top. And of course, in there, since they are 3, they will have to only win 2 games, which they have already done straight with that emphatic win. But the sure of the 100 against 0 for Chigezi Queens, what result is that, person? Well, how do you consider 100? Against nothing. Well, that is history, like you are saying. But like I always tell you, all these up-country teams face a lot of challenges, and you'll have to understand their technical and at times more of the financial side of it. And of course, these teams boast of a lot of students, and this is an academic term, and no parent would wish to concede on that other's avenue of academics vis-a-vis sport. So you believe rugby will concede, yes, by the end of the day, the players will turn in strong and give what they can, despite the results they're having. And this is another fighting spirit to bounce back and understand the results you had negatively can be overturned, and it can be another hope of grace for you to return back and overturn these results. However, the Chigezi Queens, all the way from Kabale, I don't believe they can turn the decks in their favor, having lost with that big margin, and however, having also conceded in their first opener with Avengers, that was 82 to nothing. So I believe they have nothing much to give, but I see hope in the Mbale-based She-Wolves, who beat the the Kabale-based Chigezi Queens with no point on the scorecard. And I believe whatever you're just seeing is also trying and forge a way for Uganda women's rugby development by having them play despite the scores on board. Okay. Yeah. And of course, in so many sports, there's a player or a team that acts bogey to another team. I'll tell you that in football, Italy will never beat Republic of Ireland. Sure. That's their bogey side. Yes. And then, of course, in Uganda here, I used to watch Express against Margie, and Express has never beaten Margie at any level. Wondering where Margie is. Yeah, I don't know where Margie is now. Yes. The Pirates acting so bogey against the Walukuba Barbarians at Kings Park, where you get it. Wow, it's a historical result taken in. You remember the Pirates opened the Uganda Cup calendar, beating the Chigezi Silverbacks all the way from Kabale, 152. against 9. And again, now playing with the Rams, it was a close contest, 26-10. And now they come in at their home ground, opening all the home glory and home championship hopes to believe that they can host the previous winners, who are the Heathens, who last won it in 2023. And last year it didn't happen. So whatever the Pirates are doing, you believe their tactician, Coach Marvin Odong, has all it takes to make sure he brings a trophy this year at least, having lost out on the Sevens and they, of course, won the league. You believe he has all it takes to make sure the Pirates have it strong. And the one only signal that you have to bring on table is beating your nemesis by whatever score you can bring on scoreboard. So beating the Waluku Barbarians 98-10 is not anything you wish to say. But again, the Waluku Barbarians, you understand they have been fatigued across the assignments.
That's an excuse.
And of course, they've
been
been able to field their feeder players, giving them chance to navigate out of the players who are injured and those that have been playing, and they want to widen their player depth. So giving this space to young lads, you believe the best way is to give them the bigger teams to understand what they go through and understand what the coach, how technical the coach draws his team. And when such a team is drawn, you understand that the league is the biggest discussion. So Uganda Cup is the only space you have to give them to also understand what their big brothers go through. And I understand the status has it that the Waluku Barbarians lost, which is right, but again, I believe their feeder team, the Waluku Trojans, were given a lot of space and space for everyone to see them how they play. But lucky enough, history will never turn tables.
True. Talking about the big boys, Pearson, of course, the big boys will be in the holiday this weekend. That's the Heathens, Cobs, Pirates, Hippos, and Impies will not be having any action. But of course, we shall have Waluku Barbarians against the Rams this weekend. Away from the big boys who are not going to be in action this weekend.
I will also talk about the Rams being big boys as well. Because actually,
what makes the Rams big?
Well, the Rams have a big growth structure in them, and you understand that in them they have actually they are the runners-up of the previous Uganda Cup, Ruben, and they fell short to Heathens in the Uganda Cup finals of 2023, despite it not being played last year. So you believe they have all it takes, despite them being a championship team who haven't been in the league. Remember, they were relegated in 2023, but fell short in their qualification campaign, falling short to their big nemesis, that is the Makerere-based Impies. And this time around, I believe the Rams, who played their only game against Pirates with that close contest, remember they held Pirates for that long to have a score between 26 and 10. And now this is a Waluku Barbarians team who are playing the Rams, but who have conceded out of the 3 games, winning none out of the 3. So I believe they have all it takes, and I believe it's a big game of the weekend with the Rams at the home with the Waluku Barbarians. And to me, if it's the game of the weekend, I'll surely give it to the Ginger affair. That will be Waluku Barbarians up against Lifeguard Rams for this very weekend. Okay,
so Sharks will take on the Lions. That will be at 2 p.m. in Chadondo. The Buffaloes will take on the Tyrants, of course, the Tyrants rather, at 4 p.m. in Chadondo. Then, of course, the Chambogo, Amara Chambogo will take on Kakira Simbas. That will be at 4 in Chambogo as well. The Rhinos will play against Mad Elephants at 4 at Legends. And then, of course, the Warriors will take on the Falcons. That will be at 4 as well. Now, the Warriors and the Falcons, this sounds more like basketball. So, of course, Waluku Barbarians will take on the Rams. That will be at 4 in Ginger. And lastly, but the Mongers will be play against the Silverbacks from Chigezi. And that game will be in Entebbe at 4 as well. Then, of course, with women in Makerere, we'll have, is it the Ewes?
The Ewes.
The Ewes against the Avengers.
Yes.
Okay. Pearson, your final remarks as we close it here.
My final remarks, actually, it goes down to Uganda Schools Rugby, who are in a big preparation to, that's Abu Dhabi. And remember, the team has been given an invitation to the World's Schools Festival, which is happening in Abu Dhabi, and that is at the Abu Dhabi Cricket Sports Center. That will be having netball, rugby, cricket, and netball. And Uganda has been given an invitation for 15s and 7s, and Uganda has already secured secured space for the 15 players and the contingent. But of course, Uganda Schools Rugby hope and also call on for sponsorship and support for the Sevens team, which is yet to be confirmed if they will be able to travel. So they will be entering into residential camp on the 4th, and they will be traveling to Abu Dhabi on the 14th up to 20th for the whole week tournament. That will be happening. And of course, Uganda, that will be the first time they will be happening to play for this very festival. And we believe all they have will be giving us results despite them being rookies and also coming in the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it from us, from the rugby bench. Every Thursday we're always here with Pearson to talk matters rugby. And I know that next Thursday he'll come back here and tell us about the Barbarians losing to the Rams. The game is over this weekend. And I know you'll come and say it here.
That is injustice
when
to Coach Leo, I understand.
The Barbarians lost 98-98. I mean, that was a lot for them.
I don't believe the scores will stretch that far. But of course, I believe actually it will be a close contest.
They might lose get another 98 in terms of beating.
Well, they're home. They are quite a formidable force at home. So I believe Walukwa have all it takes to host the Rams. But however, the Rams aren't weak as well.
Okay.
Yes.
We're out of here. Up next is GMU Extra. Good morning.